Sci-Fi Buzz for the weekend before Halloween with a visit to the home of Count and Countess Von Dreck in Hollywood, where it's Halloween all year long. We go retro with films based on the works of H.G. Wells, Harlan Ellison's Lost Treasures, and we buzz with the star of Gene Roddenberry's Earth, Final Conflict, Kevin Kilner.
I expect us to uphold a very high standard, the standard that Gene's created.
Prepare. Stand by. The Buzz.
Movies. Personalities.
Sci-Fi. FX.
Behind the scenes.
Cutting edge. Get ready.
SciFi Buzz.
Mike Jarek with the Buzz from the kingdoms of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And a quick congratulations to our viewers in Washington State. The National UFO Reporting Center says that you folks were visited by UFOs in 1995 more than any other state. So we here at the Buzz jumped online to see which state came in #1 in 1996. Well, guess what? The website for the National UFO Reporting Center has disappeared. You don't suppose? Well, anyway, supposedly there's alien life right here on Earth, according to a new TV series entitled Gene Roddenberry's Earth, Final Conflict. And the male star of that series is creating quite a buzz with female Earthlings.
People of Earth, we are the companions. We are here to help.
Gene Roddenberry's Earth, Final Conflict may be the most anticipated new sci-fi series of the season. That's because, as the title proudly boasts, it was conceived by the late Star Trek creator. Kevin Kilner, the series lead, explains.
He wrote it in 1978, and then he was asked by Paramount to get into the first of the movies and Next Generation, and so he decided that there's only 24 hours in a day, he can only do so many things. He put this into a cabinet for a while. And there it's rested until, like buried treasure, it's been found again.
This is extraordinary.
In the series, Kilner plays a 21st century cop joining Earth's resistance against alien visitors.
They are a species that has lived in the air, on a spaceship, in the sky, for thousands of years. They had to leave their planet. We're still not exactly sure why, and it's part of the enigma and the mystery as to why they're here.
Initially naive to the companion's true motives, Kilner's character accepts the implantation of a skrill, a bioengineered alien life form which can be used as a weapon.
Remember me?
Even with other alien-themed shows currently on TV, Kilner feels confident Earth Final Conflict will stand out.
This is the first Roddenberry series that doesn't take place on a spaceship hundreds of years in the future. It takes place on Earth. This is a testament to Gene's genius and his creativity. He decided to bring a lot of the issues that he'd always wrestled with in the future, literally and metaphorically down to Earth, and answer the main question, the most important question: what will we literally do with an advanced species when they make first contact with us? I think that's terribly important.
Please address me with your concerns.
Why have the Talons come to Earth?
Kevin Kilner's fascination with first contact lies in his own deeply held beliefs.
Personally, I feel we'll have to deal with that question someday. It's inevitable. Mathematically, statistically, laws of probability, it's going to happen.
Hollywood has often been accused of gearing sci-fi-based shows to the lowest common denominator to achieve the highest possible ratings. But Kilner hopes Earth will draw a strong following by doing just the opposite.
I think audiences have gotten to this place where we don't want things tied up with a nice red ribbon and a bow and a box. If you get to the end of our show each week and you're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, I think he meant that over there, and then someone else says, no, he meant this over here, then we've succeeded.
Although it's a huge responsibility to live up to the Roddenberry legacy, Kilner seems up for the challenge. Of course, it does help that one of the executive producers is Gene's widow, Majel, who is also involved in Earth Final Conflict.
Majel is truly the matriarch of the series. Anytime that we get anywhere away from his vision, she's the first to say, this is not what Gene would have intended. It helps us stay in a sort of a disciplined way right with him, even though he's, as she says, you know, well, he's circling us. He's overhead once every 90 minutes. We make sure, sometimes when something really good happens, I look up on the set and I go, Gene must be up there right now.
As you may have heard, the late Gene Roddenberry's ashes are orbiting the Earth even as we speak. Of course, that blasted off back in April, joined by Timothy Leary and a rocket scientist. There's a Princeton physicist up there. And the engineer that built the Bell X-1 aircraft is also orbiting the Earth. In fact, all in all, there are 24 sets of ashes up there right now. They're scheduled to be up there for another 6 years on a commercial rocket and then re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and burn up, well, kind of like shooting stars.
Sci-Fi Buzz.
A house tour you won't find on the Home and Garden channel. And Harlan Ellison's commentary, next. Lots of movie stars live in the hills above Hollywood, but so does a couple that Sci-Fi Buzz has repeatedly encountered at horror conventions. They call themselves the Count and Countess von Drac. Are these people for real? Well, you decide as we visit their unusual home with Halloween just a week away.
What are all these heads back here?
He would ask, wouldn't he? Yeah?
Yes, he would. Those are
Former hosts' heads.
TV people?
You betcha.
Why does this have like a Santa hat on?
That is Santa.
It's actually Santa, if you need to know.
You know, I was wondering why you didn't make it by my house last Christmas. So where do you get a coffin like this?
Garage sales, yard sales, and they also come equipped with such lovely damsels in distress as this one.
This one? Oh, the coffin came with that woman?
Yes, she did. The whole thing, whole kit and caboodle.
Graveyard sales. I love what you've done with the house.
Why, thank you.
Why, thanks.
What do the neighbors think of the house, though? Do they ever come over?
They love us.
Yeah,
Do
of course they do.
Really?
Absolutely. The ones who didn't, we got rid of them.
Well, Countess, explain our beautiful voodoo doll collection.
All from New Orleans. You know, we love to go to New Orleans and collect these. And they come in quite handy. We have gotten rid of 2 neighbors who were pesky neighbors that we weren't fond of by using these
Countess,
very voodoo
I
dolls.
do believe this is the one you used for the lady up the street.
Yeah, the one who's no
not
longer
with
with
us
us any longer.
Do you have a favorite one, Mike?
Oh, I think they're all really nice.
Oh, okay.
I just want to reiterate,
Yes.
I love what you've done with the place. I love this place. What is the fascination with all of this?
I think it's about life, don't you, Ken?
Yeah.
About Halloween, about every day is Halloween.
Yeah. Yes, we're addicted.
Yes, definitely addicted.
Yeah. We're products of the American dream. We can't take any credit for it. Wish you a Merry Christmas.
La 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 la.
Fa la 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 la.
La la. Isn't that beautiful, Mike?
Bah
Isn't that
humbug.
a nice tree? So this is kind of like our Halloween
Tree.
Christmas
actually.
tree. You know, like
Yeah.
the night before Christmas kind of a deal.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's easy to buy gifts for the two of you.
Oh, it's
Oh,
certainly.
he gets trains. He's really big on trains and toys.
Well, trains aren't that scary.
Doesn't matter. He still likes them anyway.
I like them.
Yeah. He wrecks them, actually. He wrecked them recently.
Oh,
There's
well.
a big
Yeah.
accident the
Yeah,
other day.
just
known.
like Gomez.
What does Christmas mean to you?
Presents.
Yeah. Yeah, our hearse, actually, we got our hearse for
Yeah.
Christmas. Santa brought it. Yeah. You know that Santa and Satan have the same, you know. You know about
Letters.
that? Yeah. Both wear red suits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. And you saw what happened to Santa.
Yeah.
Countess, thanks a lot for the tour. It's been really great. No, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
You know, take
we
you
could
down to
give
the
you
bottom.
a
Oh, I got a car. That's fine. I got my own ride.
We'll just take you right on. We'll just take you right on down.
Yeah.
Attention East Coast buzzers. It's that time of year again for the Chilla Theater Halloween Weekend Extravaganza, starting on Friday, October 31st through Sunday, November 2nd at the Meadowlands Hilton Hotel in Secaucus, New Jersey. Guys, this is the biggest and best.
You know, basically, I'm an old fart. I'm in sight of the grave. And as the shadow deepens over me, I think back to some of the lost treasures. The lost treasures that live here in memory, here in the perfect video cassette, rather than in phosphor dot immediacy on the idiot tube and are gone forever. I think back to the wonderful books and the wonderful movies that I've seen that no one pays any attention to today because of cultural illiteracy or the fact that they've forgotten immediately. I remember when I was a kid and we would go for a ride on a Sunday afternoon, my mom and dad and I in the old Plymouth. In those days, you just went for a ride, man. You didn't go anywhere. You just went for a ride. And we would listen to the radio because they had great radio shows on. And my favorite was a show called Quiet Please, which was created by one of the great unsung heroes of fantasy fiction, a man named Willis Cooper. And the show began with the announcer, Ernest Chappell, who was one of those announcers whose voice could stop you as you went through a room and you would be mesmerized for a moment. And he would begin by saying, "Quiet, please. Quiet, please." And on this Sunday, he said a line that I have never forgotten. He said, "There is a place just 5 miles from where you now stand that no human eye has ever seen. 5 miles down." And the chill that went up my spine that Sunday afternoon is the chill I just felt. Those lost treasures and other treasures that are lost to us because of the need for gimme, 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 now, now, now. What book was written this week? What's the latest thing on TV? Are the treasures that we need to remember. I'm going to give you some of them. Look them up. This is good for your soul. Don't argue with me. When they take a convention roster of films to show, all right, we've seen The Thing from Another World a million times. We've seen The Day the Earth Stood Still a million times. We've seen Star Wars, God knows, a million times. But what about Seconds? What about that gorgeous film based on David Ely's book, shot in black and white by James Wong Howe, with, of all people, Rock Hudson? This astonishing story of a man who gets to relive his life. You've never seen it? Oh, go look up Seconds. How about Dark Crystal? The only fantasy that has worked. All the rest of them don't work. Willow, Excalibur, all the rest of them, they suck. But Dark Crystal works. What about Return to Oz that got so bad rap by all the critics? Return to Oz, it ain't Judy Garland, it ain't hip-hop, but Return to Oz is in the tradition of the original Oz books. Dune, don't sell it short. You watch years to come. It will have a vision that others will say, that was a film. Then you got Curse of the Demon, directed by Jacques Tourneur. Oh, based on M.R. James' Casting the Runes, there are scenes in that will blow you out of your socks. If, the Lindsay Anderson movie with Malcolm McDowell. How about The Last Days of Man on Earth, based on Michael Moorcock's Jerry Cornelius stories? And The First Men on the Moon, the Ray Harryhausen film, with that wonderful Lionel Jeffries performance. Yeah, those are great films. You can get them. They're all on video cassette. And writers, don't talk to me about Lois McMaster Bujold and her writing this week. Don't talk to me about the latest Star Trek novel. I don't want to know from that. When you tell me that you've read Charles Beaumont and Walter M. Miller and Cordwainer Smith and Murray Leinster and Henry Kuttner and Richard Matheson and C.M. Cornbluth and Lee Brackett and Stanley Weinbaum and Jack Finney and Avram Davidson, many of whom are still alive, when you tell me you've read their great stuff, then and only then can you tell me about the latest Jerry Purnell military novel that was issued by Baen Books. Until that time, I'm going to look on you as an illiterate.
A retrospective of the films spawned by the works of H.G. Wells, when the Buzz reconnects.
This year is another centenary year for H.G. Wells. Back in 1897, he published 4 books, including The Invisible Man. But 2 years before, in 1895, he also published 4 books, including The Time Machine, which basically made his reputation. What a prolific writer. No wonder so many of his works were adapted into movies. In fact, here's a look at the big screen works of H.G. Wells.
Now, that's the most important question to which I hope to find an answer. Can man control his destiny? Can he change the shape of things to come?
Herbert George Wells, that's H.G. Wells to you and me, is undoubtedly one of sci-fi's greatest writers. Wells' extraordinary imagination also translated into some pretty terrific sci-fi films. One of the best is The Time Machine. Made by director George Pal in 1960, the film convincingly creates Wells' famous tale of time travel. Oh, sure, maybe this time machine that our hero travels in isn't exactly high-tech,
But the Academy Award-winning special effects convincingly transport us into the future.
Looks like they're going to come out of that gully pretty soon. We'll have to rush our defenses to be ready when they do.
We're going to need plenty of reinforcements.
We'll get them. Lieutenant, look!
The Time Machine was not director George Powell's first crack at an H.G. Wells story. In 1953, Powell brought The War of the Worlds to the screen. In the effects-laden thriller, Earth is invaded by menacing Martian machines. Almost all of the film's production budget was spent on creating these cold, ominous spacecrafts, which won the film an Oscar for special effects.
We know now that we can't beat their machines. Got to beat them.
Many elements in War of the Worlds seem more timely than ever. Overzealous news reporters, scientists scrutinizing blood samples, and a riot that takes place in Los Angeles all have a familiar ring to them.
Hold on tight, Kate.
Special effects also figured prominently in the British-produced First Men in the Moon. Special effects guru Ray Harryhausen was responsible for bringing to life many of Wells' space creatures in the film. His love for Wells' novel was instrumental in bringing this version to screen in 1964.
You're convinced that this thing on the table isn't human? Its cries are human. You know what it is? Well, again, no, an animal.
1996, The Isle of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando was a disappointment to most sci-fi fans. A better version of Wells' classic story was Island of Lost Souls, released in 1933. This telling of the Dr. Moreau story was initially banned in many countries because of its horrific plot. It depicts an evil scientist transforming animals into subhumans through the use of surgery. The film successfully captures the creepy atmosphere of Wells' book while expressing the author's distinctive take on man's attempts at playing God.
What is the law?
The film also features some of the best performances found in an H.G. Wells movie. Charles Laughton is perfect as the demented doctor, and Bela Lugosi, just 2 years after playing Dracula, gives another stellar performance as one of Moreau's misguided experiments.
You're crazy to know who I am, aren't you? All right, I'll show you.
Directed by James Whale, 1933's The Invisible Man stands today as one of the finest film adaptations of a Wells story. The film's slapstick comedy and amazing special effects make this sci-fi classic truly one of a kind. And remember, folks, these effects were all done without the aid of some fancy-schmancy computer. Director Whale, who a few years earlier turned a then-unknown Boris Karloff into a star with Frankenstein, repeated this success when he cast an unknown Claude Rains in the title role. And while Rains may have been seen on camera for only a few moments, his menacing voice lent a truly distinctive quality to the invisible lead character.
Power to rule, to make the world grovel at my feet.
Perhaps the only time H.G. Wells himself has been portrayed on screen was in 1979's Time After Time. While not based on a Wells story per se, the film features Wells as one of its main characters. Malcolm McDowell portrays the author as he frantically tries to catch up with Jack the Ripper, who has stolen Wells' time machine and escaped into the future.
90 years ago, I was a freak. Today, I'm an amateur. You go back, Herbert. The future isn't what you thought.
Not only did H.G. Wells write a number of science fiction's landmark stories, but he inspired some of the genre's most memorable movies.
Our Buzz Best Bets are next. No surfing, please. Sci-fi and horror rock make this week's Buzz Best Bets. The venerable horror punk band The Misfits has released a new album on Geffen Records titled American Psycho. This CD features the single Dig Up Her Bones. Plus, The Misfits even have their own set of trading cards. American Psycho is available wherever rock and roll is sold, and be sure to notice the album's cover by famous Monsters magazine artist Basil Gogos. If you prefer space rock to punk, you'll want to check out Neil Norman and his Cosmic Orchestra. The group is well known to convention goers for their spacey live shows. Norman and the gang have just released a 3-song CD culled from their Greatest Science Fiction Hits Volume 4, due out next month. The single features rock versions of the Star Wars, X-Files, and Babylon 5 themes. You can buy Neil Norman CDs at most sci-fi conventions. And those are this week's Buzz Best Bets.
From our Buzz Best Bets to Drink It If You Dare. Now, John Platt, you seem to know about the alien ale. You brought it in.
I know a little bit about alien ales. They actually are going to be marketed all over the country.
Yeah.
According to the box, it's actually was found in an alien flying saucer.
Let's get everybody to test some of this. Come on, everybody. Come on over here. Let's have a little party here with alien ale.
We've
Do you know what it is exactly?
Well, this one's supposedly Mars Punch, and this one's Galactic Grape, but I'm actually not sure what this one is. This was found in the back of the spaceship.
Who's going to drink this?
I'm not sure, but
Doctor,
This one's Cosmic Ice. I'll try that one.
No, you
Want
do
me to
that.
this one?
You do the yellow stuff.
All right, I'll try.
be drinking the Cosmic Ice.
I'll give it a try, see what it tastes like.
No, 170 calories, no grams of fat, of course. It's just carbonated water, I think.
Quinine?
Quinine.
Oh, this one actually does taste pretty good.
So you can get it in supermarkets?
It's orangey.
Watch for alien ale, everybody. Better idea. Watch for us next week, same time.